Hello, everyone. This is Joe Boston with the Dallas Real Estate Investment Group. I'm here to tell you about our great opportunity for you to learn and participate in our Fix and Flip program. This year is paramount that you master the skills. It's not good enough just to know the concepts and the processes. So it's all about what you know. In this case, who you know can be bad. So if you know all the details behind a certain process, then it can insulate you from being taken advantage of, but also knowing what you should be doing. So when it comes to pricing on anything that has to do with real estate, a lot of it's working with people who have experience so you don't make mistakes that other people have in the past. So it's always your fault no matter what, especially when you're the project manager. So we're really good project managers. So our fix and flip program helps you to navigate through all the processes with the program. So, one is we discuss what the program is. Some of the benefits is you can get on wholesale uh, people's lists that actually focus on wholesaling so that you can have an opportunity to buy at discounts. In addition to that, you'll be able to learn how to do comparable market analysis, which will show you what you should be paying or if it's a good deal. Run the numbers to make sure that your cash flow is it should be what it is. We'll go through what you should be expecting. You can develop your own pricing matrix. Everybody's different. So your financial goals might be different than the person sitting next to you. So we'll kind of cover that with you individually. You want to develop your own relationships with contractors. We go through that. It's important that you have your own relationships because just like you're an individual, so are your projects. And you need to be able to communicate those and navigate through pricing matrices and also expectations of timing. Uh, you need to put everything out for bid. We're going to talk about that. One thing that we're used to doing is when we get comfortable with someone or a process, we don't sharpen the saw. And that means we don't continue to try to do improvement on the pricing or on the vendors themselves. So, or materials. So we'll go through that. Also, using contracts. What contracts should you use when you're dealing with contractors? What do you need to have in place? For example, lien releases and items of that nature. What should you have in place? We'll cover that. And then always get pertinent information from your contractors up front, even if you're interviewing them. For example, with driver's licenses, we take pictures of license plates. We actually have a proprietary program we use to run background checks on our contractors, not just, if you were interviewing a tenant or something like that. But we actually do background checks on our contractors to make sure they're one legitimate and then also for tax purposes that you could actually find them because there's a process from taxation when you're paying people, in excess of $500 that you do need to actually be able to contact them and provide them with the taxation paperwork. I also recommend you purchase your own materials. There's many benefits there. One, first and foremost, is you're not being upcharged on them, and then you get the benefit with accreditation and setting up your own contracts with vendors, and then setting yourself up with material warehouses. That's important. And then we're going to talk about the threes. The minimum of threes: walking in the beginning, during, and then walking at the end. We're going to do that through all your projects and not just with one. You're going to do it for every single one. You're going to do them the same. So exciting program. Tomorrow we have a meeting on the 17th at 11 o'clock a.m. at the Dallas RIG headquarters. We'd like you to participate. Come, we'll talk about the Fix and Flip program and kind of cover what membership means. Uh, we'll have several open meetings. And then with our core members, we can actually leverage to do different things. One, with the experience that we have, you can utilize, the meeting of the minds and working with us that have done it for a while. Leverage crews, keeping them all busy. So if you have projects, I have projects, someone else has projects in the core membership, then we'll keep them busy. As well as our vendors, the more we buy, obviously, the better pricing that we would receive. And then again, it's not only the knowledge of knowing where to go, but also then you become a master at it, right? And so that's our goal. And then working on different projects, right? So once you get good at one, then doing multiple is the goal, right? So I always say you should do three, one in, one on, and then one out, right? So your goal should be threes. And then also having your crews and your vendors benefit from them. So we're going to talk about that. In addition to that, we're going to cover the major heat rehab cost repairs and just do a brief overview of those. Your roofing, HVAC, foundation, electrical, and plumbing. We're going to talk about those and give you some insight on how to handle those. Most of the properties you're buying now may be older. So from a plumbing perspective, you could have cast iron. What do you do when you run into into situations like that? In Texas, our soil is heavy clay base, and so there's a lot of shifting. So you can have a lot of breaks in your lines. How do you handle that? And so that's some examples of the things we'll talk about in detail. We'll try to go granular so you can kind of have an understanding. But again, that's part of the program. So we're really big on focused on projects so that you can learn and make money, right? Because you make money doing projects. So we want you to get very comfortable with being a good project manager. So some of the minor rehab costs we'll cover are flooring, windows, paint, landscaping, and interior trim, like your baseboards. We'll cover some of those details because actually, believe it or not, the major rehab items can be a lot easier because a lot of times you have licensed professionals. The finish out a lot of times is on you, and that can be the hardest part of your job. The finish out is the meticulous aspects of your project which make it pop or make a buyer want to move forward with the process or the project, right? And to purchase it. But if you're not good at the finish out, then you're all this money you're spending can come out looking not like you want it to. So we cover that, and you can get help doing that, right? But you should be putting eyes on as many properties as possible to see your style. Everybody has their own style, so you're going to want to discover yours, but you need to know what you have to do, where to go get those materials, what the process is, and so we'll talk about that. So again, want to invite you to our meeting, which is Saturday the 17th at 11 o'clock a.m. at the Dallas RIG headquarters. And our registration is on dallasrig.com. Please go and sign up. And tomorrow, again, we're going to be talking about materials. And this is something you really need to know in depth. So you've got your contractors, your materials, and then how you sell it, right? So how you find it, fix it, then sell it, right? And then close it, and with an exit strategy. And so we're going to talk about some of those, but really we're going to focus narrowly on materials because a lot of people don't know. They just think you have to go to Home Depot. And that's not the case if you're buying in volume. And then you want to leverage relationships to get cheaper prices. So again, tomorrow, Saturday, February 17th at 11 o'clock a.m. Hope to see you there. Register at dallasrig.com. And we will get moving with fixing and flipping. See you then.